everybody, and welcome to Epic Everyday. I'm Liz Frerichs, and this is my husband, Evan.
Hello, happy Friday.
Woohoo, Friday! I think I'm going to end up doing that every week, because that's my first thought.
That you want it to actually be Monday. Because I'm not convinced that that's a real cheer.
Well, it is true. I like Mondays.
All right.
So
I like Fridays.
I know. Anyway, we're so glad that you guys are here with us today. As we promised, today we are going to talk about starting unexpected projects, otherwise known as why the heck did we end up taking a hiatus from our podcast that you didn't know about.
Right.
We started recording, we have had this idea for the podcast for a while, but we started recording episodes in May, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
And then we were like, we should work on the website for a little bit, get that up and running, and then we'll publish all of our podcast episodes.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, and so in June, I took a week off work. The kids were at a camp, and we were like, okay, we're just going to
whip it out
through this in a week, and here we are in the beginning of September.
Yes.
And but we'd never built a web page before. We've never made a podcast before, so it's all learn as you go.
Yes.
And it's been a very interesting ride.
There are a lot of unexpected projects that just pop up.
Yeah, and a lot of time drains and energy drains, and but we're getting through it still. We had to get through it,
right?
And that's always the challenge.
Yeah, I think the biggest stress about having an unexpected project is that it just throws a whole wrench in your schedule. I mean, at least for me, because my day is fairly rigorously scheduled. There's not a lot of wiggle room. So when something unexpected comes up, it's like rearranging a Chinese puzzle. I mean...
Yeah. And it seems like you can't do other things, and at least for me, like until this new thing is done. And then we can get back to normal. And it's just, if the thing takes a while, you got to find a way to do real life and the special thing at the same time. It's tricky. And that's why we advocate for margin so much and a little bit slower lifestyle, but we're working on it because it's really difficult.
Well, that's why we have this podcast, to remind ourselves, hey, self. I listen to the podcast every day just because I need it. So tomorrow when I'm listening to this, whatever day it is.
Next week.
Yes. Then tell myself, please, you need margin in your schedule. Do it.
Yeah. It always takes more time and money than you think it's going to take to do whatever it is.
Right. And I find that the stress kind of snowballs. Because one thing is off, then something else is off, and it's just more stressful that that's off. Kind of like that kick the cat syndrome.
I don't know.
You're not familiar with that?
Is that a disease of some kind? I might have it, actually.
So that's when, somebody cuts you off in traffic. And so then you snap at your kid.
Sure.
And then your kid gets upset, and they're all upset. And then by the time you get home, you're just like frazzled and angry. And then you end up kicking your cat. That's the compressed version. Yeah. But it's basically just this idea that once something gets off, your stress pours itself into every situation in your life. And the people who cause the stress are not the ones that are dealing with it. It's everybody else in your life that you're like, I'm mad at this situation, so I'm going to be short with you and cranky and eventually you kick your cat.
Yeah, no, that's true. And the cat's like, hey, what?
What did I do?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I maybe have heard that. That's a good point. So how about us? Last couple months, have we been doing that, or would you give
we've
us
been trying to. I would give us like a B-, because we have been working, or maybe I would give us an A+ for effort.
Oh wow!
Because we have been working on creating margin, and even though I think the way the CSCs work, which we've said this before, and we probably say this consistently, is that you get out of balance and then use the CSCs to get back in balance. Yeah. It's not, was I balanced the entire 3 months or whatever? Because the answer to that would be no, and it would be impossible. But when I got out of balance, did I stop relatively quickly to rebalance? Yes,
right. Or do you just, yeah, that's true. I mean, we've been trying to, like we've said in the last few weeks, train ourselves to when that out of balance thing happens, or the stress or the brick wall or whatever, use that as an opportunity to, as a trigger kind of in your mind to be like, okay, I need to get back over here into the CSCs.
Right.
I mean, one thing we've started doing in that time in between is meditating every day.
Yeah.
For up to like 44 days or something like that at this point. We're using the Headspace app, and that's, who has time for that? But we fit it in, and it's been super beneficial, almost pretty much from the beginning.
Right.
I mean, we kept doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been sleeping through the night for the first time in my life, like consistently sleeping through the night, without waking up, which is a first for me. So
yeah, so that's margin, though. I mean, we made ourselves do it. We didn't really have time for it.
Right.
And
despite the fact that it's like 3 minutes. Like if you do the Headspace app, they have options to do a 3-minute or a 5-minute or a 10-minute meditation. And you would think 3 minutes would not be that hard to find, but
yeah, it's probably wise that they start like that. Because once you kind of get into it, past the basic pack, the shortest one is 10 minutes. You know?
That's true.
So
kind of, since it's Friday and we're talking about complete, I was thinking about how being complete makes such a difference when you do have an unexpected project come up, because you're bringing your whole self to bear on the project. Kind of like what we were talking about with fragmentation on last Friday, and how you end up multitasking yourself into irrelevancy. Like you're just like, okay, A1, B2 versus ABC 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And it takes so much more time and energy to deal with. So if you have an unexpected project jump up, if you can stay complete and really bring your whole self to bear in a situation, it goes more smoothly.
How do you do that? Well, I guess like we just were saying, huh?
Yeah.
Stay in the CSCs.
Right.
Yeah. I think it comes down to being intentional too. Like we're working on being intentional, in the normal parts of our life. Like when our schedule's kind of normal and we're like, okay, I pretty much know what today's going to be like. And then when a day hits you that you don't kind of know what you're being like, if you've practiced on those kind of normal days,
right, it's
way easier to hang on to what's true and important and good on the crazy days.
Totally.
To hang on to your faith and hang on to, I mean, take it. If you've built up a habit where you're meditating 5 minutes twice a day or something, and then you hit this really busy season, you're way more likely to start or to keep doing it than you are to start in the middle of it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I think one of the biggest ways to tell whether you're complete or not is, are you present in this moment? Is your brain out in the future? Are you planning for things that may or may not happen? Or are you focused on what happened in the past? Not being in this moment also makes it way harder to do things, because you can't actually change the future or the past. You can only affect now.
Yeah, that's true. And something I struggle with is in the moment being like, oh, I wish I didn't even have to do this. If this and this and that was different, this wouldn't even be a problem. And that's fantasy world.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You have to deal with what is actually in front of you.
Yeah. We also need to trust God and His grace. Even if you've bitten off more than you can chew, God and His grace and mercy can be there to rescue you. I mean,
definitely.
Boy, that kind of rhymes. But so we can get ourselves into a thing where we've double booked ourselves, and there's way too much going on. And God can still rescue us from that and give us the margin we need and help us to cut down on stuff. That kind of has to do with more routine, but you definitely feel that when something comes up. Maybe you got to take your kid to the hospital, or, I guess if you're going to have a baby or something, that's coming. But then on that day when labor starts and stuff, like your schedule is just gone. for a few weeks, or I mean, the rest of your life, really, if it's your first child.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, and sometimes it is that unexpected thing that God is working in. Like, I think it's sometimes we get, at least for me, I get so focused on my schedule that I don't allow for the unexpected things, and I reject anything unexpected because I'm like, this is my railroad track. This is my schedule. I need to stay on it. Versus being able to be like, well, maybe God's bringing something cool into my life.
Yeah.
Very
much. Yeah.
I don't leave room for the unexpected to be beneficial. Like, to me, unexpected means bad.
Yeah.
So being able to stop and be like, wait a minute, maybe this is something good.
Yeah. Well, we've been on kind of a pretty major detour for 6 or 7 years, ever since you started having chronic pain and fatigue and stuff. I mean, that's nothing you ever really planned for and ever think would benefit, but we've learned stuff we never could have learned any other way.
This is true. Autoimmune is no picnic, but it's definitely been amazing seeing God work through it.
Yeah, and I think, everybody's got to have something. Nobody ever gets through their life and like, yep, I pretty much planned the whole thing out. So look to God and ask Him what the heck is going on, and look for opportunities to learn and grow and trust in His grace. That's really the solution. We want to say, well, why God? Why are you letting this happen? Why this seems so bad? That's a good place to start, but moving into the faith and into the CSCs is where it really starts to jive.
Yeah. Well, and I love, as you're looking at complete and being in the moment, the only reason complete works is because of the other four.
Yeah.
Like, if you do have something unexpected come up, you can be calm because you can be surrendered and trust that God has a plan. And you can work on, because everything else in your day, you're moving out of the essence of who you are and doing the things that God's called you to do. Having something unexpected is not the end of the world, because the rest of the time you're working on the things that are important.
Yeah.
Versus, like, I think sometimes we get so busy that we're just doing the minutia all the time rather than doing anything important.
Yeah.
So if you're centered, you're already doing the stuff that's important, and you're already connected with God, and you're already connected with other people. So you can be complete.
Yeah. And it may sound overwhelming, but it really, 1% improvement. We can't forget that.
Yeah, seriously.
To get to a place where the day in, day out grind is significant stuff and not just busy work. Just start.
Yeah.
Start working on it. You're not just going to start doing it tomorrow, but.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just adding little pieces. We've definitely seen that in our lives. I feel like most of the stuff that I do in my day is something that's significant. So you can get there. It just has been little by little adding one piece and then another piece and then another piece, and doing a lot of working smarter, not harder, applying the CSCs stuff.
Yeah, and being intentional. That's what I keep coming back to.
We hope that you guys have a super awesome Friday, if you like Fridays.
Yeah, that's
fine. I like Saturdays. I get to go to the library and write extra on Saturdays, so I like that part.
That's not Friday though. That's Saturday.
That's true. Fine. Anyway, so we hope that you guys have a good Friday, and we would love for you to join our community on Facebook.
Yeah, please. It's facebook.com/groups/epiceveryday. And join our group. We'll approve you.
Yeah.
We want to talk.
Yeah. Let us know how the CSCs are affecting your life. And you can also join our email list. As our gift to you for joining our email list, we actually have a printable poster or a phone wallpaper, which is one of the unexpected projects that ended up coming up.
Yeah, that's true. But they're pretty snazzy. Liz worked on them, and they're actually some artwork that she created with her own handwriting. And
yes, you can see how awesome my handwriting is.
I like it. And but anyway, to get to that, down at the bottom of our webpage, there's a little email sign up
for our email address. Yeah. And that's a good way to be reminded of the CSCs too.
we hope you come back next week. Next week we are going to get into what do you do with all the different information that's coming at us from everywhere. Maybe if you're a student, you're getting some information from your school, or maybe you're getting some information from growing up in Sunday school and your family of origin versus some of your friends. There's all these different sets and sources of information, and how do we jive that into one worldview? And if you're not familiar with the term worldview, we'll get into that next week too. But it's going to be a worldview week. We're going to explore Liz and I's worldview a little bit, because one of the things you might be wondering is, why the heck do we talk about Tai Chi so much? We'll get into that.
Yeah.
We're going to get into an idea called all truth is God's truth, and a couple other things.
And if you liked the episodes this week, please share them with 3 people, because the more people that we can get who are living in the CSCs, the church is a body, and we need everybody involved in living, according to God's design, so that we're the most functional, because Christianity is a community sport.
We're so glad you're here with us today listening. And we look forward to hopefully hearing from you on Facebook or Twitter.
Yep, we love you guys, and we're praying for you. So have an awesome Friday.
Yeah, and weekend, and come on back on Monday when it's actually a good day.
All right. Bye.
Bye.